Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to today's video. We're going to answer some questions you've been asking, comments on the YouTube videos, stuff you want to know about what we got going on, what's coming up. Stay tuned next.
Hi, I'm Billy Dietrich, sprint car mechanic and driver. I've been around racing my whole life and it's pretty much all I know. We created this channel to share the good and the bad and everything in between. Our crew may not be the most experienced or professional, but we get it done and we have a good time doing it. We'll show you what it's really like racing weekly at some of the best tracks in central Pennsylvania. I'm also going to share some sprint car tutorials, mechanics, and parts, and whatever else I feel like. So like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And enjoy the ride. Yeah, boy!
Alright everybody, thanks for tuning in. We're going to talk today about lots of stuff that you guys have been asking. And one of the most popular questions we get is our schedule, our upcoming schedule. I saw some questions on YouTube already asking us to release the schedule. So if you don't already know, BillyDietrich.com is our website. We do have our full schedule on there, which is subject to change. So we're almost into August. I want to start with the first Friday of August and also the second Friday of August. Them 2 Fridays, we will not be racing. The first week's the Grove, the second week's Big Diamond. I'm going to tell you the main reason why. As most of you know, me and Danny are brothers. We run our shop, Racers Doing Used Parts Warehouse, together. And Danny's actually leaving, I think, August 1st to head to Knoxville. So when he's not in town, it's a one-man show. Kind of, sort of. My dad's there. He helps out a lot. But all the work pretty much relies on me. So Danny's going to be in Knoxville for the 360 Nationals. And then the following week starts the 410 Nationals. So he'll be gone both them weekends. So it's going to be too much for me to try and race on a Friday and then turn the car around for a Saturday. Even though we have a crew, but the crew's a lot of times busy on Saturday mornings or what have you. So it's just too much work in the shop to dedicate, pull my time away, which never seems to really work because customers need me. So that's what's going on the first 2 weekends. The first 2 Fridays of August, we won't be racing, but I believe every Saturday of August we have a race scheduled. Highlighted the second Saturday, we're going to be at Clinton County for the Phil Water Classic. Excited about that. Beer can. We were on the beer can last year. Not this year because Dale Blaine kicked our butts, but anyway, we're going to be going to the Clinton County again. And then, as some of you may already know, we kind of went to change up a little bit the other week. We went to Port Royal on Saturday. And we're going to see some more of that too. Our upcoming schedule is going to have some more Port Royal races in it. People are wondering why. Why'd you go to Port Royal? Is it the BS went on Lincoln earlier in the year? Is it something else? Well, here's why. I'm just going to tell everybody why. Some of it is, the stuff at Lincoln hasn't really changed and kind of wore out with it. I think kind of all are. But there's some big races coming up at Port Royal. And if you don't know this, Port Royal Speedway has the best purse of any track in central Pennsylvania. Bar none. A weekly regular show at Port Royal pays better than Lincoln, pays better than the Grove, on back through the field. Not just for winning, but for dead last and right on down the line. So you compare apples to apples, Port Royal pays the best. So that's also part of the reason why we were going up there. Kind of costs you the same amount of money to race either track. You go through 2 tires a night, it seems like everywhere. So more money at Port Royal. Plus, they got the Dream Race coming up in a couple weeks on a Saturday. They got twin 10,000 win lap, twin 10,000 to win features there. I think they're both 25 laps. So kind of want to get some testing in, some tuning in for that race coming up. And yeah, that's kind of the reason behind going to Port Royal. And we're excited to get up there. It's a challenge for us. I feel like we've had some very good runs this year at Port Royal. Kind of unexpected. We struggled there in the past, but things have been going pretty good up there. So look forward to Port Royal also this month of August. So once we get past that, we're kind of looking at Labor Day weekend coming up. And Lincoln Speedway will be at the Grove that Labor Day Friday. And then Lincoln has a 2-day show, but We don't know anything about it just yet. You know, they haven't really released any details. Before it was the Dirt Classic. It's no longer the Dirt Classic. Last year was the first year for 2-day Dirt Classic, Saturday, Sunday. Like I said, it's 2 days this year, but they haven't really released any details on format, purse, any of that stuff. So we don't know where we're going to be at that Saturday. And you know, we'll be there on Sunday because I think that's the only place running on Sunday. And then Labor Day, Monday, we may venture to Port Royal, which we haven't done that in a few years. It's still kind of up in the air, but we may go to Port Royal for Labor Day. And then to wrap it up, the Tuscarora 50 weekend, which is the following weekend, we will not be racing at all. Very, very special reason why. Heather's oldest daughter, Autumn, is getting married that weekend, so we'll be attending the weekend ceremonies starting Friday. We'll be going up, having a good time, hanging out with everybody. Then Saturday's the actual wedding and then the reception. So looking forward to that. Super excited. You know, got my suit all dry clean, looking good. But anyway, that's the update on the schedule. Stay tuned to our social media page if you can. Facebook, if you're on there, Billy Dietrich on Facebook, Billy Dietrich Racing. Either page. If we have any updates, we post them on there all the time. So that's the schedule update. And yeah, stay tuned for more information. All right, so the second update to this video, and we get lots of questions about the crew. And first of all, I just want to say to everybody that first and foremost, everybody that you see on the crew, everybody's here as volunteers. Nobody gets paid. Everybody's here under their free will. They can do what they want. The understanding right off the bat when they come to help on the team has always been, hey, family comes first. Racing is something we love to do. It's very, very time consuming, but there are other things outside of racing and the racetrack that take precedent over being at the track or being at the shop. So keep that in mind. So the most popular question we've had in the last several months is, where's Nate? What's going on with Nate? What happened to Nate? Is Nate on another crew? You name it, so on and so forth. So here's the update. As you all are probably aware, if you've been following along with our journey over the last several years, Nate's a retired Army veteran. She has some medical issues. He's had his back operated on, his neck operated on twice, along with some other things that are still lingering. And along with that is he's had some restrictions. He's physically not been able to do what he could do before. And with that, we don't really, we don't want Nate to overdo it. And it's not that he can't do some of the stuff anymore. It's just that, it's best if he doesn't. And we don't want to see him be hurt. There were several times behind the scenes you wouldn't know about, but Nate would be at the track and help us. And then, the next day he'd be laid on the couch all day because he's sore. You can't move his back, his neck. His arms are giving him problems and all this and that. So Nate's still around a lot. I see Nate every week, really. Sometimes we go to lunch once a week. He stops at the shop. Another thing about Nate is he's got a family at home. He's got 2 young boys. There he's taken care of along with Courtney. And so they have their own life, and he's taking on more of that responsibility as well. I think he's got the boys a couple days a week, so that's awesome. We're excited for that. He's got a great family. But we still all hang out. You just saw Nate in the last video. He was at the Grove with us for Speed Week some, and then he hung out a little bit, and then he went out and hung out in the infield with his friends. So that was fine too. So you're going to see Nate more. He's going to be in some of the other videos coming up. But that's the update on Nate. Everything's cool. We're all friends. We all hang out. We have functions. We all get together and do this. Next thing, went out on Nate's boat not too long ago. We had a good time with that. So that's the update on Nate. Don't worry, Nate's good. So Nate's well. Well, we'll just go right down the line. Quick update on Chris Adams. No, he is not Heather's brother, which was one of the questions in one of the videos. So you can cross that question off. But there really is no update with Chris. We hung out with him a little while back. He came to the races one night, and there's really no update on Chris. He's got his family stuff going on, and that's just where we'll leave it. Our crew they got their own personal lives, and some of them are just that. They're personal, and that's fine. We're all friends. We respect that. So that's the update on Chris. Of course, we got Corey and Janet. Corey doesn't miss many races, but there are a few occasions like Western PA. Corey just couldn't make it. Corey's a farmer. Him and Janet both. have a lot of acreage to cover, a lot of farming to tend to, and then Corey also works for a company, his day job, which is sometimes 70, 80 hours a week. He works for a company where they actually go out and they spray all the crops. So spring into summer is a very, very busy time for Corey, and then we roll right into hay season. And right now it's sweet corn, and which is very yummy, by the way. But anyway, so Corey's doing well, Janet's doing well. They did miss a couple of shows, but that's the reason why. Dwight's a staple there. He's on the crew. Dwight doesn't miss many either, but Dwight does race. He's got a 358 ride. He drives the number 10 car. And so when they're racing the Grove, which is where they primarily race, you don't see Dwight in the video. So it's because he's racing. So like the Speed Week video we just posted, he's actually racing that night. He was racing with Wyatt's dad. So that's the update on Dwight. Dwight's there most of the time, but when he's racing, he's not there. So, we'll just keep going. We got Tyler. Tyler. Tyler kind of, came on and really been a good asset to the team. He's really helped a lot. But here again, Tyler has to, he's got family stuff to deal with as well. He's had to skip out a couple weeks and take care of some stuff, which is cool. So, but he's coming back, so it's all good. And Tanner, I think Tanner's been in some of our videos. You're going to see Tanner here a little bit more. Tanner's kind of floated. We need help once in a while. Tanner comes back and he helps a little bit. And Tanner's big into baseball. He does coaching baseball. And Tanner, for those who don't know, Tanner is a Utz chip man. So he drives the Utz chip truck around. Say that 3 times fast. And so you see the Utz chips in the stores. That's what Tanner does for them. So Tanner's been helping us out. We appreciate that. It's been a good help to us. And we got Ronnie Orwig and his wife Wendy. Ronnie is a sponsor on the car, Orwig's Fine Finishing. Here again, Ronnie stepped in a couple times, went to Western PSP Week with us. He was with us the other week when we went to Clinton County. So you're going to see Ronnie some too. Ronnie's son also races, or he did race 410s at Lincoln. And then so some Saturday nights they're racing at Lincoln. He ain't helping us. He's helping his son's team race. So we appreciate Ronnie stepping in. Ronnie's a former racer, so he's got a lot of knowledge too. And Wendy's cool. She's fun to be around. She knows a lot of stuff. She's been hand in hand with Ronnie for a long, long time. So that's kind of the crew update. You're going to see Bob. You saw Bob in Western PA. Bob's a friend of ours from Michigan. We kind of got to know Bob through the YouTube channel, and Bob comes in and hangs out with us. So Bob's a cool guy. So you're going to see Bob through some of these videos coming up. So that's what Bob's up to. And one more thing. We got Wyatt on the crew. So if you've seen Wyatt, he's a real character. We had a lot of fun with Wyatt. Wyatt's dad races 358s. His name is Doug Haymaker, a very successful racer as well. And Wyatt's grandfather, Dale Haymaker, also raced. So, the connection there was kind of through Chris Frank. And then we all kind of friends. And Wyatt kind of, became part of the team there a little bit. So we enjoy having Wyatt around too. He's a good, very entertaining. Let's just put it that way. So that's the crew update. I appreciate all the comments. Hopefully I've answered all your questions. We're going to keep racing. One thing about our team is, we have a kind of a mixture of crew, and they all show up when they can. We appreciate it, and we do the best we can. We have a good time. So that's the crew update. Now you know what I know. All right, so this is going to be a fun part, at least I think. It's something that I enjoy doing. I know Heather reads the comments. I know Nate reads the comments. I know a lot of people read the comments. So over time, I just read through the comments, and I got a little list here of some comments and questions. So there's lots of questions in the comments, and some of them maybe aren't questions, but they're good comments. So I went through and jotted a few down that I thought maybe we would just hit today. So I got my list here. And by all means, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to post them on the video. So these are some of the most popular questions I would say that we've gotten recently. So the first one I'm going to hit on is, are you coming to Western PA again or Ohio in 2024? The answer to that right now is no. We were out there for Western PA Speed Week. And as of right now, we don't have anything scheduled. There was a race at Sharon. The Lou Blaney Classic or Memorial coming up, but that's the same night as the Dream Race at Port Royal, so we're going to be going to Port Royal that night. But I did want to say, if all my Western PA fans or Ohio fans are out there to watch us in Western PA Speed Week, I know it didn't go well, and I know that I felt terrible. I know Heather did too. That we had all this stuff planned, we had new merch, all this stuff, and it just went sideways on us. We didn't get the chance to sell the merch at the track and have the fan interaction. But there's always next year, so you never know. We might come back out next year for Western PHP Week. So that's the answer to that question. The next question is, I get this a lot too. Some people even ask me this in person. Do I have iRacing or do I race on iRacing? I do not have iRacing. I've never done it. I think my son Seth has iRacing, but I don't think he has a steering wheel. I think he uses a controller maybe. I'm not sure how that works. So no, I don't have iRacing. I know our car is on there. I think it might even be an update for the 2024 car coming on iRacing. So stay tuned for that. But my experience with racing online would be all the way back to the Rat Bag days. Kind of dating myself here a little bit, but if you're out there and you know what I mean, comment below. When the first original Outlaw game came out, and I think 01, maybe 2000, 2001, 2002. Then eventually it ended up online, and I raced on that game. So I had a good time on that, but no iRacing for me. My evenings look like sitting here with Heather, watching some TV, eating dinner. There's no iRacing involved, so it's a good question there. Another question we get a lot of is, what motor do you use? I'm going to assume that means what brand, who builds it. It's a Don Ott racing engine. For those who don't know, Don Ott Racing Engines is a local engine builder to us here. They're about 15, 20 minutes from our shop. They do a lot of motors in central Pennsylvania and across the country. Don has since sold the business to a fellow named Adam. Adam Cofer runs the shop now, so he's got the same group of guys there. Danny runs his motors, Macri runs them, Devin Board, and I don't know, there's a bunch of guys, like I said, throughout this area run them. And he builds a lot of motors for other teams, across the country, 360s. I think he even builds from 305, so 358s in this area. So we run Don Ott motors, build a good piece. They're local, and we like to support them guys. And Don Ott, actually, believe it or not, when Don had the business originally, started in his house, and then Don's son raced, and we sold parts to Don. So it's kind of like, it kind of goes full circle, you know what I mean? So that's good too. I feel good about that. Another question along the lines with the motor stuff is, people see us changing the MSD box on the engine. And I say, why? I see lots of comments. Why you change the box? Why you change the box? And probably going back 5, 6, 8 years ago, maybe this was kind of a big deal. Anymore, I think it's just kind of it's common knowledge when the sprint car world, the sprint car guys do it. It's really not even a big deal anymore. But there is no traction control allowed in sprint car racing. So guys look for other ways to kind of control the horsepower when the track gets slick. You'll see guys change nozzles. You'll see guys change MSD box. You'll see guys change actual injector stacks, or they'll put reducers in the stacks. So when we change the box, it's typically on a smaller track like Lincoln or Clinton County or somewhere like that. It gets really slick, really dry. We do that to kind of take the edge off the horsepower. It's a way to detune the engine. There's all kinds, there's all kinds of ways to do it, but that's why we do it. We're not talking a lot, and there's certain ways of how that MSD box works, but that's why you see us changing the boxes. If you ever paid attention, there's lots of guys that do the same thing. So it's kind of the norm anymore, but that's why we change the MSD box so much. You need all the power you can get at the beginning of the night, especially for time trials, and then sometimes you don't need it. So this was an interesting question. Why doesn't Hoosier sell tires that are already grooved? That's a great idea. I wanted the same thing. It would save me a lot of work, save the next guy a lot of work. I have no idea. I don't think it's possible. Probably, I'm sure you saw me grooving tires, or we're grooving tires at the track. We're cutting, we're siping. That's a whole other topic, which we did have a tire video like a year ago on the new tire. But I can only imagine that there would be no way to please everybody for how they wanted to cut or groove a tire. So that's probably why they don't do it. Here's a little fun fact I want to share with you. Back in their early 90s, when my dad was still racing for a living full-time, Hoosier tire was not the tire of choice in central Pennsylvania, really across the whole country. Goodyear and McCreary at the time was the two tires, and Hoosier, they couldn't hardly give a tire away. So, but my dad was on them and did a lot of R&D, and there were several times where the tires came in not grooved at all. It looked like a drag slick. And we go down there to Hoosier Tire Mid-Atlantic, and Walt was the sprint car guy back then. Bud Watson was still with us then. He owned the tire company, W&W, and he would mark lines on the tire with chalk. And they would say, oh, you want to cut this way, and then you want to cut this way on the edges, and you want to go around, and so on and so forth. So there was a time when we had tires, just Hoosier, that wasn't grooved at all. That's way, way back today. I'm getting kind of off track here, but I thought that was an interesting one to share with you. So I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore, because talk about time consuming, that was time consuming. And the last question I got here is, why do I have tape on the steering wheel? Why do I have white tape on there? Why is there black tape on there? Well, I'll tell you why. There's a couple reasons. First and foremost, probably 2 years ago-ish, I was having some trouble with my elbow. My brother said it was tennis elbow. He said it was from gripping the wheel so hard. And he experienced the same problem himself. So he had, in the meantime, went to a fatter steering wheel, more, circumference. So when you're gripping the wheel, you're not having to squeeze as hard. So, well, I'll do the same thing. So I actually changed wheels to a larger spoke wheel. And then I actually decided, well, that wasn't enough. I'm going to wrap tape around it. I just went to Walmart and got, racquetball tape or hockey stick tape or whatever it was. It wrapped around it multiple times, probably 2 or 3 rows each way. And then the white tape on the end, that's just duct tape. It's just for me to put on the end to try and, seal that end up so it doesn't peel off. And I find that, I pull my tail off with my left hand, so my right hand actually does most of the work in the car when you're turning the wheel to the right. So that's the reason why there's tape on the wheel. The black tape's just for grip. The white tape is just duct tape just for the end of the tape. So try and get as much time on it as I can. Also, they kind of goes with this a little bit. Before I actually had the trouble with my elbow, I did the tape to try and, prolong the life of my gloves. The wheel itself was just aluminum, so it would kind of be hard on the glove. So, that's the other thing too. Tape, longevity on my glove, don't wear my gloves out, and help my elbows gripping the wheel. So that's going to wrap up the fan question part of this video. By all means, comment question anytime you want. I'm sure there's tons of questions I didn't get to, and they're great out there, but I don't see them all. I tried to, but I don't. So comment below. Let us know what you'd like to know. We'll do this again. So that's going to wrap up the fan question part of the video. All right, everybody. So stay tuned. We're in the middle of our Speed Week series of videos. We went to 7 tracks. We raced 6 times. I would say we had a great week. I want you to stay tuned. You're going to love it. You're not going to want to miss any of this coming up. Thanks for watching. Comment below, like, subscribe, BillDietrich.com for merch. We'll see you next time.